Welcome to Great Episodes in Gibbs History, presented by Gibbs Farm, a program of Ramsey County Historical Society. Today, we're getting schooled about the one-room Stoen Schoolhouse. Spoiler alert, the schoolhouse went on a unique and lengthy road trip. Heman Gibbs had been a teacher earlier in life before marrying Jane, and education was of particular importance. So in 1871, the Gibbs family sold land in order to pay for a schoolhouse for the Gibbs and neighbor children. This schoolhouse was located across Larpenteur Avenue, directly across from the Gibbs farmhouse. The school remained in operation until the 1960s, and then the land was sold to the University of Minnesota. When the Ramsey County Historical Society began running the Gibbs Farm site in 1949, education about early farm life in Minnesota was their top priority. As the society and their programming grew, they wanted to be able to talk about learning in an 1880s schoolhouse. A search was undertaken in 1963 to find a period-appropriate one-room schoolhouse that could be transported to the site in Falcon Heights. In June 1964, the Stoen Schoolhouse was identified as a good candidate. The Stoen Schoolhouse was constructed in 1882 in Chippewa County, School District Number 35. The immediate community it served was primarily Norwegian immigrants, and the land on which it stood was first farmed by Ole Pater Halverson, whose heirs later sold the land surrounding the schoolhouse to Ernest and Manfred Stoen for a grand total of $1 and other good and valuable considerations. That sounds like a pretty good deal. The schoolhouse itself was purchased from the heirs by School District Number 35 for $140. Guess they weren't as shrewd in negotiations as Ernest and Manfred. It was around this time that the school began being referred to as the Stoen Schoolhouse. In 1957, schools in Chippewa County were reorganized and District Number 35 became District Number 297. By the 1964-65 school year, there were just 3 students enrolled in the school that had once boasted consistent numbers of 20 to 30 students. The board decided to close it, and in 1965, the schoolhouse and land were sold to Ernie Stoen for a total sum of $1, which brings his total land investment to $2. But this was not to be the end of the Stoen Schoolhouse. In January 1966, the schoolhouse began a 140-mile trek to its current home on the Gibbs Farm site, then called the Gibbs Farm Museum. During its first summer of residence, a schoolhouse program for children was developed with assistance from history students from Macalester College. The Ramsey County Historical Society began receiving inquiries concerning management of a living history schoolhouse from as far away as New Jersey. The schoolhouse has been in use for field trips, summer camps, and public programs ever since. Janie, you went to the one-day schoolhouse camp as a kid, right?
I did, yeah.
What do you remember most about the schoolhouse?
I remember that I failed a spelling bee.
That tracks. In September of 1988, there was a reunion of former Stoen Schoolhouse teachers, students, and board members at Gibbs Farm. The former occupants shared their memories of learning in the building. Overwhelmingly, they remembered their childhood education fondly. The only downsides consistently mentioned came from the teachers. These were the responsibility of making fires in the stove on freezing mornings and the fact that an outhouse was the only restroom. Yuck. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take a second to like and subscribe so that you won't miss future installments of Great Episodes in Gibbs History. Bye!